How do we know what we're seeing on the internet is real? There are so many deep fakes and so many people spreading misinformation. It's hard to know what's reliable.
Mike Caulfield's new book is called Verified: How to Think Straight, Get Duped Less, and Make Better Decisions About What to Believe, a guide for telling fact from fiction on the internet, often in less than 30 seconds. And Mike joins us this morning. Good morning.
Hey, great to be here.
We've seen this a big problem through the election with horrible repercussions. Why do even smart people so easily fooled by stuff they read on the internet that is so clearly false?
A lot of it is that we're applying our techniques that we've learned from reading, reading print material, reading newspapers, or even viewing television newscasts to the internet, which is a different world entirely. And those techniques that we learned when it came to the world of print, in the world of TV, don't always serve us well when we get onto the internet.
Well, it's like speaking of like a younger generation's getting a lot of news clips from TikTok, and it's really nothing. There's no rules for things to be verified. So how does someone who gets their news on social media know if it's true or not? You say in 30 seconds you can tell.
In 30 seconds, yeah. So the main thing that people have to think about when they encounter something online is not even necessarily first whether it's true or false, but whether they know what they're looking at. This is where most smart people go wrong. They see a video on the internet and they think, oh, well, here's some footage from another place. Let me think about what this means without asking, is this footage from this year? Is this footage from this conflict? That sort of thing. And so what we recommend people do is a process called SIFT. SIFT stands for stop, investigate the source, find better coverage, and trace claims, quotes, and media to the original source. And we show really quick ways that people can do that when they're online.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Some people may not know the difference between a good source and a bad source. What do you think of Snopes? I often just kind of go there first to check things out, which doesn't take long.
I think for most things, Snopes is good. I mean, generally what you're trying to do is not make these finer distinctions of whether something is 95% true or 100% true. Generally, you're trying to find out, is the thing you're looking at a satirical video or actual news footage? Is the thing that you're looking at an article from a well-known medical site or a teaching hospital, or from some dude on the internet with an opinion? And when you're looking at things with that level of specificity, a quick search of Snopes can help. Another thing that can help is just taking the headline of the thing that you're looking at, opening another tab, dropping that in Google, clicking search. 99 times out of 100, if you take the headline of something you're looking at, drop it in Google, if it is a well-known hoax, the reporting on that being a hoax will float to the top of the results.
Interesting. What do you do for a lot of people have members of their family or someone they know that really believes a narrative of stuff? They go down a big rabbit hole online and they believe things that might not be true. How do you convince someone otherwise? Sometimes they don't want to be convinced.
Yeah, and I think you have to respect that. I don't know that, if you have a member of your family that is doing that, I don't know that sort of attacking every single thing that they put online is the best approach to that. It's a long process. And what I think you should think about more when it comes to that family member is other people might be reading stuff that person posts. And I think you should think about their audience. You're probably not going to convince that person in a day that they're wrong about this thing, but there are other people looking there who might think that this stuff is credible. And putting what we found is even just going and replying and saying, I understand you're passionate about this, but I found this additional information about it, and putting a link there so that other people reading that can see the deeper story. That can help the people that are reading them. And I think that's where your first focus should be. The other problem is a much longer term conversation.
Mike, just quickly, what are your thoughts about artificial intelligence? I imagine that's going to make things very difficult for us.
One of the things that we find in our research is people rely too much on their sense of whether something looks true, feels true, sounds true. And the techniques in our book try to give people quick ways to figure out what other people say about the thing versus or where the thing came from. Artificial intelligence is really good at looking true and sounding true. And so what you've got to do is you've got to ask yourself these fundamental questions. They're the questions of journalism. Who put this together? Why did they put this together? What do other people say about it? And spend less time looking at something and saying, well, this sounds really authoritative, so I think it might be credible.
All right, for more, you can check out hapgood.us and follow Mike on X @Holden. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.